Just first thing right at the bat, how's the team kind of feeling? I know you said they were dealing with some illness this past weekend. You said Nate had barely had really not eaten for a couple days. Just how's that kind of run its course a little bit with the illness side?
I think we're getting there. We guys got a little time to rest up and had a good film session yesterday. We took it easier on their bodies, but really had some clear, constructive talks, and I think we're going to be able to get out after it today. And just seeing we're out here 30 minutes before practice. We got a lot of guys out here shooting, so I think the energy's getting up a little bit.
Oregon State has some of the most bizarre splits in the country. 13-1 at home, with the one loss to Oregon, 1-5 on the road. What is it about that maybe you've seen on tape that they do differently at home, or is it just the atmosphere of Gill and kind of having the fans at their back?
There's a few things. We've definitely tried to look at that. We're going into a good road environment where they do bring a lot of energy and they have a great fan base. But I think they shoot it a little bit better at home, and their defense seems to really mess with teams more on those home games. They throw in some zones and some different looks, and I think it's just hard to get a rhythm at their place.
I think maybe fair to say in the last kind of several games, as things have maybe gone awry a little bit, the defense has had its issues. Rebounding, three-point defense, etc. Has there been something that maybe changed from earlier in the season where it seemed like that was a strength to where I think it's, most of the defensive metrics now in the 300s compared to early in the year, they were kind of closer to 100, top 150 even?
Yeah, that's something that we've really tried to analyze. And when you look at, there's two kind of stats that stand out lately where our rebounding and our defensive rebounding and our offensive turnovers that we're working on. We need to get fixed, and I think we have guys that are more than capable of doing that.
And then I think the number I looked at was 330th in fouls per game. Is that something you can live with because of the aggressiveness, or is that a number that has to get lower?
It has to get lower, and I think a lot of it is due to us needing to be more disciplined and get into our spots and not lunging and reaching.
With the turnovers, it seems like some of those are just off the entry passes that don't really get there, just passes that just get kind of stolen on the perimeter. Is that just a kind of a product of just done and not seeing the lane, or being too careless, or kind of where do those come from?
I think there's some that have to do with just being a little bit careless, and I think those are the ones that are the most controllable. When you see us starting off games and when we're mentally fresh, and I don't think we turn it over nearly as much, and just when we kind of get in those lulls and we lose focus, that's something that shouldn't happen.
It seemed like once teams started getting some ball pressure on you guys, a lot of teams have kind of mimicked that as the season has gone on. Have you seen it that way, or kind of how do you guys combat some of that ball pressure you guys are seeing?
We got to attack the rim better, and I got to do a better job of putting our guys in position to do that. I think there's some sets we could have called, especially last game on their run, where we were trying to pass it too much on the perimeter rather than attack. But for the most part, our guys know what the counters are. When we're mentally sharp, I think we attack those counters pretty well. When we're not, we try to force a few things.
You have not experienced many losing streaks in your time as a head coach, obviously. Now that you kind of hit your first, extended snag, how do you kind of manage that, and what's kind of your approach with that?
I think it honestly comes at a different time. We've in my head coaching career, we started off the year pretty bad, and a lot of that's had to do with when I was at Eastern, we were playing Power 5 schools and a little bit overmatched, but we really had the understanding that if we're going to beat these teams and win like we want to win, we have to be a connected group, and we got to do things our way, not my way. And I think our guys have tried to do that all year, but the rubber hasn't really hit the road until now, and I think we're understanding the importance of that a little bit more.
Lawan's got an assist rate of 23.8, a turnover rate of 25.2. One of those numbers I'm sure you love, the other one not so much. How do you kind of, speak to the devil, how do you kind of, we've talked about this year, but keep that assist rate where it is while getting his turnover rate to where it's, even 15, 16, but it's still extremely plus on the assist rate?
We've talked a lot about that. We've watched all of his turnovers together and his assists and just kind of shown where we're having success and where we're not, and you can see that there's a lot of times where things snowball, and we kind of compound mistakes by trying to make up for it the next play, and I think that's not from anything other than trying to get it back and help our team, and we just got to make sure we're not doing that as much.
And then how long was Nate kind of dealing with that illness? Was that at Pacific too, or was that just for San Francisco?
Yeah, we've had kind of the whole last week, guys have been, last couple weeks because Dane and a couple other guys are going through it. And it's it's part of the deal. We play basketball in the winter and people get sick.
Coach, this is your only meeting with Oregon State this year down there. Can you just speak to sort of being the legacy Pac-12 schools here and getting that one shot with them and sort of the rivalry it creates just naturally by being those two schools?
Yeah, I think it's something that there's been a real connection with the two schools, and obviously there's been a fierce competition in the last however long that they've been in the Pac-12 together. And I just think every time that I've been introduced to a different rivalry or just different scenario where the Coug fans that come out, it's been eye-opening and really cool to see, and I'm excited for my first round.
You kind of just mentioned how you try to make up your mistakes by getting it right back right away. Where do you see that come up the most, and what can you do to kind of curb that a little bit?
I think particularly on the road, we've had some really bad stretches. You look at our Santa Clara and USF runs that we gave up. Those in particular were stuff where we were compounding our mistakes and kind of snowballing a little bit. It starts. You can talk about it in film. I think in practice today we got a few ideas of, making sure we address it. We get the guys to understand where things have gone wrong and what we need going forward, and making sure we have those tools in our tool belt to fix those runs.
Something off the wall for you. It was right after the USF game ended that the news about the Luka trade broke. I don't know if you're a big NBA fan, but I'm curious when you found out about that and what your reaction was.
I didn't want to look at my phone after that game, so my friends were there, and I got to see some old high school friends and old teachers, and when I got back to the hotel, the coaching staff told me, and I thought they were joking. I thought they were just trying to lighten the mood or something like that. But it's crazy. I mean, I'm seeing stuff right now about KD maybe coming back to the Warriors. You never know.
I'd be not happy about that.